everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I've got one for you on devoicing conservatives, because I'm seeing this happening more and more. And my friend John Ward here has just been demonetized. Now, I don't know him personally, okay? I just know his videos. I laugh at them. They're pretty funny. Sometimes he gets a little, shall we say, risque on some of them. He gets a little over the top in a few, but he does try to beep out most of the bad language. Some of his insights are really interesting, how he puts things together. So his channel is one that I really like to watch. Just a couple days ago, all of a sudden he got this message from YouTube saying his entire channel had been demonetized. He was not going to be able to earn any ad revenue off of it from here on out. Well, this is difficult because, especially like the types of videos he does, he tends to do videos that have a lot of clips and things in them, so it takes a lot of time to put together. They may be short videos, but he really does put a lot of time into making these. I mean, I know how long it takes to just edit a video that I record like this, but you know, there's prep time. You have to go and find the clips, and that's why I don't do so many clips, because it does take a lot of time doing clip shows. So here he is in this situation where he's trying to put these videos out, and then all of a sudden they pull the rug out from underneath him. Well, I am trying to diversify a little bit, so I'm not going to be in a bad situation if that happens to me, and I can still keep on producing the videos. But sometimes this is how people are making their living, and so they really do need something to make sure that they can get their bills paid. And with John, he has his music and everything, but he no longer can get any ad revenue off of this. So he made up a website. He does have a way that you can still donate to him if you're one of his fans. I recommend that, check out his videos. Again, if you're kind of sensitive to some language, you might not be too happy with some of them, but I think he does a good job, and he puts a spin on it that you won't hear in other places. But I wanted to point this out to you because there is a real concerted effort right now to remove a lot of conservative voices from these platforms in one way or another. And by taking away the monetization, if you've been following my channel, you understand the impact of that. It's really less about the money and more about the views. Because it seems to me from the data I see from my own videos that when one is demonetized, it never gets the play that the others do. When it's monetized, they take off. When it's not, nothing happens to them. It's like they hit a brick wall. They just stop. And they gain very few views as the time goes on. The word is not getting out there. And granted, they go up and down, I see that, but for the most part, he usually gets quite a few views, 64 and 54. And then I think it was on this part 3 of the March for Life, that was the day that he found out he was demonetized. And so, who knows, maybe it will. I mean, this one's only been out for an hour. He's got 12K views. So maybe they'll keep going. I hope they do. It's one of those things I think people need to be aware of what's happening, not just on YouTube, but on other forms of social media. Patreon has had a really big blow up. And I don't know if you're familiar with Sargon of Akkad. He's one of them that Patreon just deleted his account. I mean, overnight type thing, with no explanation as to what he'd done wrong. There's been a big problem with Patreon because in a discussion somebody else had with Patreon, they made a transcript of it, and in that transcript it seems pretty apparent that Patreon is going to be choosing who stays on their platform and who doesn't, kind of willy-nilly. And so this is one reason why I'm trying to do some infrastructure things underneath to be prepared just in case something happens. Now, for now, my Patreon's still going, and I love my patrons, and I thank you so much if you're doing that for me. If you're not, that's okay. My videos are still free. It doesn't matter. Most of the stuff I put on Patreon is still free and everybody can see it. Even if you don't have a Patreon account, you can still see it. But I wanted to point this out to you because those who aren't involved as creators on these platforms, you may not be aware of really what's going on. There is a battle going on, and it's becoming kind of severe because a lot of these people rely on this for their livelihood, because it does take almost all day to put together some of these videos, especially when you're doing the research. And when he has to go looking for clips and things, that takes time. I wanted to let you know about that because I think it's something we need to know is happening, and it's very possible that the conservative YouTube creators might end up getting together and doing some kind of class action lawsuit against YouTube because it really is being unfair. And they're now starting to say they're going to crack down on conspiracy channels. That could mean some really serious purging. And I hate to see that, and I'm hoping it's not going to be me, especially. But how do you know? It's so capricious. It's all up in the air. It's when you're a conservative content creator on YouTube, every day is a gift. You have to be grateful for every day that you're not demonetized or deleted. So I'm very grateful that I have what I have. Speaking of how the left views us, check this out. Washington Post national political correspondent calls Trump supporters rubes. Yep, that's what we're being called. We're known as rubes. One of the Washington Post chief political reporters labeled supporters of President Donald Trump and his proposal for a wall along the southern border as rubes in an appearance during a podcast released Monday. If you look down here at his quote, it says, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is very good at identifying what the rubes want to hear. So this guy, Weigel, or I don't know how to pronounce his name. Anyway, so there he is, the guy with the microphone. Yeah, nice looking guy, huh? So, I'll leave this down below so you can read it on your own, but it's just like, really? Seriously, you're calling us rubes? That's what they think of us. Well, let's go on. How about this guy, Michael Bloomberg? I'm sure you've heard of him, right? Well, Michael Bloomberg has a very low opinion of coal miners. You can't teach a coal miner to code. Yeah, well, he was talking here, and he said, you're not going to teach a coal miner to code. Mark Zuckerberg says you can teach them to code, and everything will be great. I don't know how to break it to you, but no. I mean, really? Looking down your nose at coal miners? Those people do a great work, and you're sitting there looking down your nose at them saying, well, they're too stupid to code. Oh, I don't understand how liberals got control of Silicon Valley, but boy, I wish we'd have been smarter and not let them do that, because I know a lot of conservatives who can code. I can code. I don't do it as well as I'd like to, but I still can. But this kind of talk is very common. This is how they view us. They look down their nose at us and they think we are much less intelligent, that we cannot put sentences together, and that we have no ability to do anything, and that's why they need to make all the decisions. Yeah, that really is how it works. Let's go on with some of the ways they are silencing conservative voices. This Breitbart article says blacklisters at Microsoft's Newsguard label proven hoaxes credible. So check this out. Newsguard, which is the establishment media's latest effort to blacklist alternative media sites, is giving its sign of approval to proven hoaxes, even to stories that have been retracted. Microsoft is so desperate to spread fake news and blacklist ideas it doesn't like, Newsguard is automatically included in one of its browsers. Now, I'm going to put this link down below. You can actually download it yourself and see what it does, but I don't know. Anyway, you will find more examples below, but here is Newsguard's seal of approval on the Google search page for Rolling Stone's 2014 hoax about a gang rape at the University of Virginia, UVA. Rolling Stone, which Newsguard gave a passing grade, was eventually forced to retract the story and settle some lawsuits, but the far-left HuffPost's aggregation of Rolling Stone's proven lie is still live, and that green check mark is Newsguard's way of telling readers they are reading something credible. So see, I mean, it's still there. Everybody knows that that ended up being a hoax, that it was total fabrication. But yet, here's Huffington Post that still has it out there, and they have a green check mark next to it telling you that that's reliable. It's credible. You see, when you do a Google search of stories, Newsguard and Microsoft use the green check mark to tell you what is and is not credible, what is and is not blacklisted, and this is Newsguard giving the green light to a story that was so fake it had to be retracted. Compare that to Newsguard's labeling as fake news, a basic news story like this one. Trump, chances of reaching deal on wall less than 50-50 by Breitbart. And look at the red thing there. Warning. See? Not true. Questionable site. Why is Newsguard labeling that fake news? Simply because Breitbart News published it. We didn't even write that story. The AP did. We are simply aggregating the AP. Look at the roundup below, which took less than 20 minutes to track down. Every single one of these stories is fake news, starting with BuzzFeed's debunked lie about President Trump telling his then personal attorney Michael Cohen to lie to Congress. Look at how Newsguard and Microsoft openly and audaciously deceived their readers. The Washington Post debunked hoax about Russia hacking Vermont's utility grid. Credible. Do you remember that? It was like, no, it was so fake, and they had to retract it. But it's credible, according to this Newsguard. The lie about First Lady Melania Trump being an illegal alien. Credible. The lie about Trump changing the name of Black History Month. Credible. The lie about Trump threatening to invade Mexico. Credible. The lie about Congress investigating a Russian fund with ties to Trump. Credible. Yet they were all fake news. And here they are. See with their little green checks? There's the screenshot. There they are. All those lovely little green checks. So why? Why are Newsguard and Microsoft deliberately marking fake news as credible? Why are they looking to fool people into believing proven hoaxes are legitimate stories? Even outrageous ones about the First Lady coming to the country illegally. This is all about 2020, my friends. As I pointed out last week, Newsguard marks as fake every single story Breitbart News publishes. Not because the story is inaccurate, but because we report stories Newsguard does not believe should be reported. Yeah, and you can finish it off. It's not a lot longer there. But anyway, that's what they're doing. They're silencing us, and this is how they're going to affect the election. The 2020 election is going to be affected by these tech giants that have control of our search engines and of our social media sites. That's how it's going to be. That's what they're working towards. And if we don't come up with something before then, we're going to lose the election purely because of this. And if that's not enough, let's go to this. I'm happy to announce the Bot Sentinel Android app is now available. You can get it here. The Bot Sentinel app includes the web version of Twitter, and trollbot warnings are displayed in real time. You can also use our other tools within the app. Guess who they consider untrustworthy? Oh yeah, POTUS. Really? They are calling POTUS a bot? An untrustworthy troll bot? Okay, he does troll sometimes. He is the master troll after all. But he's the President of the United States. How can you call him untrustworthy in an app like this? I mean, this is incredible. And it's not just that. If you go to these other pictures, there are different things like this is QAnon, over 50 QTubers on one site has that. That's one of them. That is a troll bot. They're calling troll bots. And so this one here, Web Market Power, Dreg Nationalist. I'm not familiar with these, but then it goes through and it tells you how many bots it has come up with. 54,000 troll bots. Very suspicious to me. Really seems like it. And they're going down here. Oh yes, you've just got to get our troll bot so you can hear that our president is untrustworthy. I think this is just ridiculous. But there it is. That's what we've got going on. I'm just getting so tired of it, aren't you? And I really honestly wish I knew what the solution was. other than a bunch of people on social media getting together and deciding to do some kind of class action lawsuit, I don't know what else we can do. Now, I do know that Congress is doing some investigations, and I don't believe they've completed those. I think they are still ongoing. But again, Congress doesn't have any teeth. They can make the recommendations, but it's eventually got to get to the DOJ, and the DOJ has to make some decisions, and they have to do the prosecution. So I don't know. While I'm on the topic of prosecutions, that's one thing that's kind of been going around, and like I said in my previous video about misinformation, disinformation, I'm going to label this as a rumor going around, but it makes sense to me, so it's possible. I don't know, but I can't verify it. The rumor that's going around is that one of the reasons Trump ended the government shutdown was because it was affecting the grand juries. And he needs the grand juries to continue in their work so that all this can come out very soon. It's just that the grand juries have been swamped. When you think about the magnitude of how many corrupt politicians there are, this is huge. It's very huge. And it's taking a long time to get all the people they need to. So I think that was one of them. I personally am wondering if it wasn't the threat of something happening at the Super Bowl. I'd use the FF term, but they like to flag for that. So I'm going to leave that word out. But you know what I'm talking about. Something bad happening, and then it would be blamed on Trump because the government was shut down, and that would be Homeland Security and everything, and they would say, oh, look, it's all his fault. So I think maybe that was part of it too. And so I don't know exactly the reason. I can't read his mind, but I do think those two might have been a big part of what his decision was. So that's what I wanted to tell you tonight. I wanted to talk to you about this whole thing of censorship, but it's conservative censorship, and they're using all different kinds of weapons to go after them. And it's getting very serious because with the 2020 election, if they're feeding people only lies and they're not letting any of the truth come out, how are people ever going to make an educated decision in 2020? So in my opinion, that's a type of election meddling and fraud that needs to be addressed. And I do think some of the more astute people in Congress are addressing that because of the line of questioning that they did when the Google and Facebook leadership were in there. So I'm not sure how far it's gotten. I'm not sure if it's going to be far enough, but we sure hope it is. This is the main thing that has to be broken before anything major can happen. There has to be a way for the truth to come out when all this starts happening. So that's what I've got for you in this one. Just think about it. Keep an eye out for ways that they are trying to silence the conservative voice, because it's happening all over the place, and we need to make as much of a stand as we can. What's it going to take? I don't know. Something. Maybe the Internet Bill of Rights, which was going for a while, and they had petitions on it. I'm not sure if that's the route we need to go, or if we have to go class action lawsuits. If that's the case, then that may be what we have to do as well. I know that most of the YouTubers who are doing this don't have a lot of extra money to hire lawyers, so it would have to be something where there was a crowdfunding of some kind to help us pay lawyer bills if we go into some kind of class action lawsuit. So keep us in your prayers. As content creators, it's really hard for us. We want to do what's right. We want to get the truth out there, but we also know that when we do, that's going to be something that they're going to attack. And we want to stand strong, but you know, we all have bills too that we have to pay. Oh, speaking of bills, did y'all see that Bill Smith is back? I watched his video and he said nothing about being totally gone. For those who don't know Bill Smith, he's a YouTuber and he had a pretty good following. I don't know, 50K, something like that. He was doing videos like every day. He put up a video and then he just didn't answer. I mean, there was no response from him. Not even, he didn't answer any of the comments. He didn't put anything in there. He just didn't make any more videos for about, what's it been? 4 or 5 months? Maybe 6 at this point. He just didn't come back. And the last videos he'd done up to that point were talking about the Clinton Foundation and the Haiti type thing. And people wondered if he'd been Arkansided. So, I don't know. It was a little weird. And so I saw his video pop up in the recommended videos, and it was like, whoa, that's a Bill Smith video. So I went in to see it, and he said absolutely nothing about being gone. And all the comments down at the bottom were like, what? You just show up after being gone for so long and you didn't tell us what happened? We want to know. So I don't know if he said anything since then. I haven't been back to look, but just odd things, really odd things going on. It is a bit sobering to do something like this because you do have a fear that something major is going to happen to you if you get on the wrong side of the wrong people, which is pretty much what we're doing when we're exposing the truth. So I don't know. Pray for us. We always need it, right? I mean, hey, if they can give a content strike to Praying Medic, then something's going wrong. It's getting crazy out there, folks. And the best thing you can do for any of your favorite YouTube content creators, give them thumbs up, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. Those 3 things factor into how your videos are promoted on YouTube. So the more views you get, the more they will promote yours. The more subscribers you have, and the more notifications clicked, and all of that plays into their little algorithm. So if you can do those things, it's a great way of helping the YouTubers that you care about and helping to keep them going. So I don't know what the future is for YouTube. Now, I always have my readthewriter.com website in case things are going out, and I'm working on one for Truthification Chronicles. And I have my Patreon at this point. We'll see what happens. My books will be coming out soon, hopefully, and I have another couple surprises for you that I'll be talking about later on, and hopefully we'll get something out in February and then maybe something out in March for you. So that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to kind of diversify so that I'm not focused totally on YouTube. I also am looking into other platforms to put my videos in case I need to. I have them all saved on hard drives, so it's not a problem. It just would be a matter of uploading them to a new site, which is going to take massive amounts of time with my really slow connection. But I'm looking into getting a faster connection too. I don't know if that's going to work out, but I'm going to try. So anyway, that's what I've got for you tonight. I really want to thank you for stopping by. And I hope I haven't overwhelmed you with all of the information. But down below, you'll find the links to all of these things. Please share them, because people need to understand how the voices of conservatives are being stolen from us on these platforms. So share the information, let people know. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.